All right. We are rolling. 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 Rolling down a river. Nine. Kiwi. Great. That's not how we get out of the kennel. We know these rules. Okay, so this is for ChatGPT. So I am starting a fun project where I'm going to be creating an online training platform and need your help in making this the most effective program for people to be able to do things that they haven't been able to do before with their dogs. So starting from the foundation of this, what I want to do is record myself, and I'm going to upload video of myself talking about the training and talking about the business as a whole, and really want your feedback on the training style, how I can improve in my communication, my own performance, and how I'm messaging this, the words I'm saying, but also how I'm saying it. And I'm pretty excited about this. 9. So I want you to do the best that you can, ChatGPT, to understand the training method that I am using, asking me questions, challenging my method, challenging my beliefs, and even giving me scientific peer-reviewed articles that either that do challenge it or that say, hey, you are doing the right thing. I want this to go into a bigger umbrella of ethology, the study of animal behavior, which is something I just learned about recently. And yeah, I'm pretty excited about this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off with the training foundation, and then we're going to build from there. 3. All right, let's do this thing. So starting off with the training foundation, we have understanding how dogs learn. Kiwi out. 9. Understanding how dogs learn is a prerequisite of that. So if we're not really understanding how they learn, then that might limit our own ability to influence their behavior, but also it might have us turn a blind eye to the things that our dogs are doing and letting them do, that through repetition, through habit, it leads to a dog that is out of control and is doing things that aren't productive for them or for their relationship with their human. For example, your dog's behavior on leash. You go out for a walk and they're pulling to every single smell, to every single leaf that's blowing, or to every single person, every single dog. So it's really important to make sure that we have control there, because if we don't and our dog pulls and they lead to something that's reinforcing to them, then your dog's going to continue doing that behavior because pulling works. They win from pulling. But instead, so I guess as this stuff is happening, I'm going to point it out. Kiwi's just all up in the other dog's face. Kiwi out. 9. and it's pretty darn clear that Jesse's trying to communicate that she's not interested. She's being avoidant of Kiwi. So in that situation, when Jesse goes into avoidance, there's where I'm going to intervene with Kiwi. I'm going to give her the opportunity to listen. I'm not just going to say no, because Kiwi might not know exactly why she's being told that she's doing a bad thing. So instead, I'm using out to set a boundary, and then from there, if Kiwi listens to it, great. Kiwi, come. But if she doesn't, then I want to hold her accountable to that command. People get into a really bad position where we're asking the command, but we don't have the ability to follow through. We have to ask the command 5 times, and then our dog listens on the 5th time. That can't be where we are with our dog, because when there's Kiwi, come. When there are situations, 9, Kiwi, come. When there are situations that, when there's distractions, right? That number might go from, it takes 1 time for our dog to listen to, it takes 2 times, and then it takes 5 times, right? So we need to make sure that we have the ability to ask 1 time and then follow through from there. Truthfully, I believe that training's all about getting to that point where we can hold our dogs accountable to these things that are important for them to do. Listening to you, but also just having manners, making good choices. So again, we can see Jessie doesn't really seem to be into Kiwi, and Kiwi keeps putting herself in there. So Jessie isn't engaging. A little bit of engagement now. Out. It's also okay to say that you want your dogs not to be roughhousing inside of the house. We need to make sure that we can have a calm household. Kiwi, come. Thank you. Good girl. 9. Kiwi, come. Good girl. Out. Again, boundaries. So again, here's all of this communication that we need to be able to set. Kiwi, come. So the expectation is another thing. 9. Kiwi, come. Expectation is being able to, 9. Good girl. Out. You're fine. You're so fine. Kiwi, out. So expectation with the command, I ask it, I want there to be a stay involved as well. If I ask a dog to go into a crate, if I ask a dog to go into place, if I ask a dog to come, I want that stay implied. Kiwi, come. If we don't intend on following through with it, then we shouldn't be asking them to do it. Or we ask them to come and then we release them. 9. Thank you. And you can see where Kiwi is responding to that correction word, and then doing the thing that I asked her to do before. So it's not a factor where she doesn't know, it's just a factor where she didn't care. 9. Thank you. Thank you. All right, so still talking about the foundation. So we have understanding like dog behavior, dog psychology. We need to understand what our expectations are when asking a command. So expectation would be not giving a command until we can effectively follow through. We could even go a step beyond that and not saying a command until our dogs are excited about doing it. So everything that we should be doing as far as the teaching phase should be about using food, having it be fun for the dog, because us humans are the same as dogs. We learn a lot better when we're having fun doing the thing. But if you have a bad teacher and, math class isn't fun, then you're not going to enjoy that. You're not going to learn it as much. Sure, there might be some other ways of saying that. Give me some, options there, ChatGPT. Thanks. So we talked about the expectations. So let's talk about nonverbal communication. Kiwi out. And again, that's why we want limits. Like, we got to be able to have nice things and have our dogs not just knock stuff over all the time. Where are we at right now? So nonverbal communication, dogs don't understand English. So if we are just speaking to our dogs like we would speak to a kid, then that's really not helping them. I look at training the same way I look at learning an instrument. If we're just telling a kid to play this musical instrument and play this chord or play this song, play this note, but we've never taught them how to do that, that's setting them up for failure. That's going to be confusing. That's going to be frustrating. That's going to be stressful. That is not the way I would want to be taught. That's not the way I want to do training. I want the dogs to be really, really engaged, having fun. And then from there, I say, hey, when your butt hits the ground, that's sit. When you go up on this platform, that's place. When you go inside of the crate, that's crate. So it's less about the words. Kiwi out. Thank you. Ghosty, come. Thank you. That's good. That's good, boy. So it's truly less about the words that we are saying and more about the meaning that we're giving the words. You could absolutely say that sit means to go into the crate, and then down means to go to place, right? You can have yes mean no and no mean yes. It doesn't matter the word that you're saying. The dogs learn through conditioning. The word that we say is going to be this stimulus, and then we are looking to create a response. But if we don't have the ability to effectively get this response, then we shouldn't be saying the word. So one of the things that we start off with is conditioning dogs to a marker word. So essentially, we would say yes and we give the dog food. We say yes and then give the dog food. Ultimate goal is that the dog hears yes and they look up at you. They anticipate, they are predicting the fact that something good is about to happen. But if we're not able to get the dogs taking food, then we can't say yes yet, because we're trying to condition something, these positive feelings, this energy, this attention, this focus of behavior. But if we're not getting the behavior in the first part, if we're not getting the feelings, then we can't say yes. The same thing, this is where a lot of people, I find, hit a roadblock with their dogs is, they may not be saying the right word or a consistent word. There's no right or wrong word, but they're not using a consistent command for their dog's bad behavior. And all we're doing is say, stop that, no, down, leave it, but we don't have that ability to enforce. So our dog's doing a bad thing, we say stop, we say no, and then they continue doing it. We try to intervene, and that actually leads to more excitement, a little bit of conflict with us getting them to stop chewing on something, to stop jumping, right? It leads to more energy, not less energy. So through this, now when we say no, we're not getting our dogs from high energy to low energy, bad behavior to neutral behavior. We're actually going from bad behavior to maybe continued bad behavior, but escalated energy. We're moving in the wrong direction. So important to understand this foundation here first, so we can move to a point where we're understanding dogs better and dogs are understanding us better. We have the ability to follow through with the words that we're saying. We know exactly how to follow through before we even give the command. So again, I'm really excited about this project. So the whole idea is taking dogs from A to Z, helping owners understand exactly the different communication styles, and then understanding in the long run too how we can get to this point of holding them accountable, giving them freedom off leash, going out to parks, even just going out into the front yard, and maybe throwing the ball out front because your backyard's not big enough, or you just want to go on a walk around the neighborhood with a leash off. That being said as well, it should be easy to walk your dog on leash. So I want to kind of overview this project a little bit more. I don't have a notebook. So starting here with the foundation, I want to talk about teaching obedience, teaching engagement through games, moving on to working around distractions, teaching out versus no, and being able to give as much help to these individuals, to dog owners, as they need, and going through all of these different stages. So continuing with this could be introduction to the e-collar, grooming, working with aggression, muzzle training. So there's all of these different categories that I want to talk about. This video to start was just about the foundation, and I think that we have a good start on it. I think there's probably more that we can get into, but again, the exercise is I'm going to upload this video to YouTube. I'm going to upload the video to YouTube, and then I'm going to add it to Kiwi out, Jesse out, 9. So here again, good example. I ask out, and they stop. Kiwi moves away, and then Kiwi goes right back to Jesse. So in that situation, I said no, and I used the remote. Could I have repeated the command? Sure. Could I have repeated the command again? Sure. But it's just at what point, where do we draw the line to say that you've got to stop? That you can't just keep going back and forth, back and forth. So I've been working with Kiwi for a while, and she's been in situations where she just, is making bad choices. So I am probably a little bit harder on her than I would be on most dogs, because she's a dog that resource guard. She's gotten into fights, and they're serious ones. So yes, I'm going to be harder on her because of those things. So with this, I want to detail and have you challenge the things that I'm talking about so far with the training philosophy. So again, dog that resource guards, we've got a toy now. So I've got to be able to say, Kiwi, out. Thank you. Kiwi, out. So out versus no, right? So for me, no is for bad behavior. There's very few that I will, very few behaviors that I'll start off saying that word with. Kiwi, out. And so for me, chewing on the leash is one, that's an extension of me. That's an extension of my body. That's an extension of your body. That needs to be something that the dogs respond to, not chew on, not combat against, not get frustrated by. So if a dog bites the leash, again, that's like the dog biting me. So that's going to be one. Jumping, for the most part will be one. There is some nuance to it. Kiwi out. So if a dog that is very, very high energy and is overly confident, then yeah, that can be one where I say no, I push them away. But if there's a dog that is lower confidence, a little anxious, Kiwi out. Again, Ghost gave a little growl there, asking for more space. I'm going to create that space for him. Because if I'm not creating the rules, if I'm not controlling this space, then they're going to try to put it amongst each other. So if Ghost tries to say move away, Kiwi doesn't, then what happens? Kiwi doesn't back away, and it leads to a possible fight, and that's not what I want. It's not what anybody wants, because once one starts, then it's more likely that another one happens, and another one happens, and another one happens. I've unfortunately seen it far too often. Kiwi, Jesse out. So no is for bad behavior. Will also eventually be for not staying and for not listening, but we can't start there. Also, for out, again, that's just going to be setting boundaries. It can be, hey, Kiwi out. It can be, hey, Kiwi, what a good girl. It's, I want you to come into my space. And then Kiwi out. I want you to move out of my space. It can be, we're playing with a toy, and you need to move away from the toy. You need to drop it. So really, Kiwi out. Less is more when it comes to the command. You don't need leave it. You don't need drop it. Kiwi out. We need the ability to enforce these things. Kiwi out. And again, you can just see like how often I need to be telling her this. Kiwi out. She just needs to understand social awareness a lot better of what the other dogs might not want from her. So she can just be neutral and exist in this space. So again, big overview is creating this online training platform curriculum that can, anybody would be have the ability to ask questions, and having a, I want to say like a Rolodex, but a dictionary, a glossary. Kiwi out. A library of information that can be searched of like, hey, I'm working with this type of dog and this is what's going on, or I'm working on just laying the foundation. So there's a lot of stuff that's going to pertain to just every single dog, but there's also going to be stuff that is very unique to certain dogs as well, for a dog that might be aggressive versus a dog that might be anxious versus a dog that needs to build confidence. Working on setting boundaries versus working on teaching commands. You're so sweet girl. So, I'm going to have you watch this YouTube video and tell me more about what we should do next, how I can improve as a communicator, as the face of this training method, which I call the Alira method, capital K9, home of the Alira method. And let's help people. I guess let's help dogs. Let's give dogs more freedom, and let's educate. Let's coach and educate more dog owners. Love it. All right, I'm going to do one last thing. So we have this idea of like setting boundaries, right? And there's impulse control that goes into that. There's just high excitability. And we want the ability to ghost out. So we want the ability to come in and tell our dogs that they have permission to certain space or a resource. So we can practice this every single time your dogs come out of a crate, every single time they go outside, come out of a car, for meal times as well. Or if you are giving them a treat, you're giving them a special bone, a special treat. Kiwi, come. Thank you. So I want to show you how I go about that. Kiwi, out. Jesse, out. So again, Kiwi was all up in the space there. I told her out, and I was pretty forceful about moving her away. So everything has trade-offs, right? So she might be a little bit more Kiwi, out. She might be more, I don't say reactive, but she might have a response of like when I move in towards her that she is out. Again, I don't like the way that she was looking at Jesse there. Again, around resources, you've got to have a lot of control. So we also need a lot of patience. But the trade-off of not being able to come in and be firm with our dogs in these situations is she's staring another dog down, and then she continues to push forward, and then a fight happens, right? So you need to be really firm with the dogs and very clear with the dogs to prevent that from happening, and just help them make better choices on their own. We also need this exposure as well. If we're not practicing this, then we're not practicing impulse control. Our dogs aren't learning to be patient, right? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to out, Jesse, out, Kiwi, out. We can talk to the dogs a little bit, and we can challenge them, and they're going to think that maybe that they're allowed to go for it. But if the moment that our dogs hear us talking, they're like, yeah, I'm excited, I'm going to go eat, then that's not exactly them really learning what we're trying to communicate. So right now we want to have one word that indicates that you're allowed to go eat. We do have our free word, but for feeding dogs together, ghost, out. For feeding dogs together, Kiwi, out. I don't necessarily love that approach. I kind of want to release everybody at the same time. I'm sure we could go one at a time, but for me, I like to go everybody at once. I could show you both. So I'm going to be, chatting and challenging them not to go for it, right? So you could also be moving around. These are good dogs. You can kick the bulls around. Jesse, out. So doing things like this. Ghost, out. And you can say like, okay, are we ready? Are we ready to eat? Oh my goodness. Yeah. Are we ready to eat our breakfast? Oh, these are good dogs. Ghost, out. And the word that I want to use is, we're going to get a little Italian here. So I'm going to say, mangia. Jesse. Manja, manja. So saying the word, probably could have said it less, and then go ahead and show them that they have access to this food now by just scooting her bowl around, right? By presenting the bowl to them. Good pups.